and Canterbury Floorball, Justin Cope. Welcome.
Kia ora koutou. My name's Justin Cope. I'm presenting a submission on behalf of Canterbury Handball Incorporated and Canterbury Floorball Incorporated, and we're submitting on the some proposed new charges for court hire for our sports in the city council facilities. Before I start, I'd just like to acknowledge the city council and particularly city council staff for recognising and supporting minority sports such as ours by really bringing us into conversations about the future use of council facilities, and especially for the future use of parakiori, which we're really excited about. Now, you may be asking, what is handball and what is floorball? And I can talk for hours, but I put simply, handball, you can think of handball as a sport like water polo, but we play it inside on a court, and floorball, if you think ice hockey, bought inside on a dry surface in a gym. So we're very much developing sports in Christchurch. We provide lots of playing opportunities for adult players and children as part of organised competitions, and we also offer our sports as part of school holiday programs and community sporting opportunities. And we're both experiencing considerable growth, particularly in the primary school and intermediate school spaces. So we're submitting against the new fees which are proposed for the hire of a handball and floorball court, which have been set, which are proposed to be $106 an hour for adults. Now, our two sports share a common court perimeter, court dimension, which is 40 metres long and 20 metres wide. Now, that's quite a lot larger than court dimensions for other sports such as basketball or netball. For example, a basketball court's around 30 metres by 15 metres. So when we play inside, those generally, depending on the venue configuration, that requires a handball or a floorball court to span an area of at least two of those smaller courts. But we're really excited that the council's providing for three of these sized community courts at the new Parakiore facility, and also for another couple of sports that you may not have heard of, futsal and korfball as well. We share similar size courts, but we are concerned that setting the single court fee for a handball or floorball court is actually double the proposed fee for a basketball court, which is $53 an hour. And obviously this decision the logic behind that decision is based on the fact that at Parakiore, the court configurations will have a handball and floorball court spanning two basketball courts. Now, it might seem, I guess, pragmatic that if you double the court space, you double the price, but we kind of see it as a little bit inequitable and potentially quite damaging to the growth and appeal of our sports. The number of players on our teams are essentially the same or similar to other sports like basketball, netball and volleyball, but the proposed charge, if it worked out, if you're working out as a cost per participant, is essentially doubled for our sports compared to the others, which we see as kind of a bit of a penalty for the unavoidable fact that our sports require a little bit more space. By far the largest cost for our sports is court hire, and although we can subsidise that by fundraising and grant funding, that's not obviously always possible, or a little bit hard to get. and so generally those extra costs are going to be passed on to our players and participants. And as developing sports, we really need to try and keep the cost per participant as low as possible, because I think you'll agree that there's probably no better way to discourage new players from taking up or continuing a sport as that the costs being prohibitive. We've had like many years of playing on quite small and unsuitable facilities, so the idea of being able to use a wonderful new facility like Parakiuri, or perhaps the opportunities that Parakiuri creates by freeing up spaces in other city council facilities, makes us really gave us quite a little bit of optimism about the future and being able to promote and grow our sports, particularly amongst our kids and our less active adults. But that optimism's been dampened a little bit by the thought of this potential significant increase in cost for court hire, which has been proposed in the draft annual plan. We think that the fees would likely rule out the regular use of facilities for our more weekly events, club trainings, and for schools competitions, as the costs might prove prohibitive. And having conversations with sports that share a similar concern, like Korfball Canterbury. So our the change that we're seeking for the proposed annual plan for the court fees is that we just be equitable for our sports, and that the fees for the hire of a full-sized futsal, handball, korfball, floorball court be brought in line with a single basketball court of $53 an hour for adults. So thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Tim Scandra.
So the courts are going to be built, and once they're in place, what is the operational OPEX with regards to your court to another court? So is there any difference with ongoing maintenance?
No, it's the same. It's just the fact that it takes up a bigger space, and it will span two of the smaller courts. I understand that the things like goals are going to be provided as part of the facility, so it'll be part of the high cost as well. The basketball get the.
Yeah, so there's no real difference.
No, there's no difference at all. No.
Cool. Thank you very much, Justin. Cheers.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.